Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alright, welcome back to the vault. Salutations to Lord Ganesha. Remove our obstacles. Please illuminate and enlighten us on this path towards, child, like returning to the source, man. Place any obstacles as you see fit. Remove or place them as you see fit. Help us to align with the will of the Supreme. Blessings. So this full moon in Pisces, right? It's a lunar eclipse. I'm not getting into lunar eclipse. That's like it's a window for us to change our entire churning of our existence. So, I can't really get into like those implications. That's above me. I ain't going back. I ain't got that level of technicality. So it's a chart. It's an eclipse position. You feel me? Saturn is outside the pool of the nodes. Saturn and Venus are outside of the nodes. You dig what I'm saying? Every other planet is inside the belly of the dragon. You dig what I'm saying? Save for your ability to love and your ability to be objective and detached and persist. You dig what I'm saying? So it's shit going on, but you got some endurance, some persistence in this. You dig what I'm saying? Some sense of devotion. And just looking at the chart, Trine Lords, mildly associated. You feel me? Ideally, this time could bring a bit of a rise in one's life and shit like that, right? So, full moon brings outward manifestation of the themes, and when the moon was dark and new. So, new moon in Leo shows the intention to depend upon one's sense of self and authenticity. Full moon in Pisces shows the understanding of letting go, adapting to the sensitivities, subtleties of the universe, imagination, and spirituality, right? Adapting through grace, right? The grace to be authentic. Feel me? Every day you even becoming more authentic or more counterfeit. You dig what I'm saying? So this full moon is in the star Purvabhadrapada, symbolized by the front half of a funeral cot or a pyre, like a sacrificial altar. This day begins the ancestral fortnight. It's a time when the veil between the spirits of those who have passed in our lives, our ancestral line, and the line of those that's living is thin. Our prayers, they can more easily reach us. Our prayers can more easily reach our ancestors, and we can call upon them and bless them. You dig what I'm saying? For their hand in our life and the ability to reach spiritual perfection in this life. You dig what I'm saying? Kali Yuga could be a kind of crazy time, but it's a good time if you turn towards God, man. You can make tremendous progress spiritually, tremendous soul development, man, because you're gonna go through it. But man, I ain't gonna get into all that. We was talking about brutal and fierce stars. Malefic planets enjoy, they feel a little more comfortable in these fierce and more dreadful, ferocious kind of stars. They bring a lot of motherfucking situations, usually early on. So I ain't gonna hold you. The people that I know, I've done a chart for like a few people with Purvabhadrapada moons, which mean Purvabhadrapada is also a soul planet in their chart. I myself got Purvabhadrapada soul planet in my chart, and the first half is a first half of a funeral cot. Their first half of their life usually very turbulent, very tumultuous. It's filled with a lot of situations that create a rage. Fire could represent rage. You dig what I'm saying? But Purvabhadrapada gives the power of spiritual fire. The spiritual fire awakens the spirituality in someone. You dig what I'm saying? In my own personal life, I'd speak about, my issue with the boundary given to us that tell us, hey man, eat animals and abuse the animals, but it really gonna desensitize you to murder in every aspect of life. You gotta switch it now. My earliest experience was that food. I watched my I guess ancestor now, Phyllis Jane Miles. May her soul rest in peace. God bless her. I watched that woman have a stroke at the table, bro, like the whole way through from the beginning. I'm not even knowing. That kind of left a little impression on me. So, going out to eat and eating in general just make me, I kind of thing. And I'm very picky about, not really picky about what I eat, but I'm not eating garbage. I just gotta be careful with that. You feel me? Purvabhadrapada is about cutting ties to the former life, but it's also cutting ties like habits, habitual tendencies that one has picked up. Like when we talk about things that's hereditary, it's passed down from somebody. They really pass down habits, certain habits that they do. Your parents or your people, your ancestors might have an inclination to go towards, maybe repressed anger shows up in a lot of in your chart and in the chart of your siblings and stuff like that. It shows up in mine. So you dig what I'm saying? On both sides, it show repressed anger. Niggas be having either strong Saturn or Saturn influences be kind of strong in charts. Saturn show depression, but depression stems from repressed anger, not expressing it, or usually it just deal with it in the first half of life. So just going back, Moon in Pisces is dreamy, imaginative, spiritualized, sensitive. It is the instinct to adapt and interact through compassion, sensitivity, and imagination. It is the field of absolution and evolution. So, kind of like being forgiven of sins. In Pisces is a sign of asylum and refuge. And you find refuge in God. You find forgiveness and absolution in the Lord. Pisces is the cosmic waters from whence all creation has emerged and evolved from, and ultimately goes back towards for further evolution. You do what I'm saying? Asha Ekapada is the one footed path towards transcendence. You're going to have to purge yourself or your past self and all your conditionings. Pisces is about liberation. You got to let go of things, let God mold you. Jupiter is expansion, guru, the grace of God. K2 is salvation, being delivered, uh, the heavenward direction. So we just put our mind towards more spiritual matters, very, very positive. Lunar eclipses bring revelations, so secrets, certain ingrained patterns become revealed. It's a window to change those things. Because of the influence of the shadow planets on the moon, which is card for the mind, I'm 8 minutes in. They transform one on a psychological level more often than not, and this might be through a physical manifestation of events. Like in my instance, Asha Ekapada is a one foot. It's like a goat deity. In a way, it's Baphomet, so it represent kind of those like false cults, institutions, secret forces, secret societies, and all of those dark plots, or just conspiracies and stuff like that, right? And you see things, and it's like people get shot over food and their lust for things. It's all vices, and you just be like, oh my gosh, it's all, yeah, right. So the simple effect of the nose is just to destabilize, just bring a certain sense of dissatisfaction in particular areas of the life. You will look at your chart, see where Pisces is, and see if where that's being destabilized and stuff like that, right? Um, So you realign oneself drastically. Spiritual practices do incredibly well. It's said that if you do one mantra, it's multiplied by 1,000. It has the merit and the impact of 1,000 different mantras. Right. So full moon is very good for the earth and water signs. It's more challenging for the fire and air signs. Right. The energy is nostalgic, spacey, cloudy, yearning. Yasmin Boland's 5 questions. Where I'm at right now. These 10 minutes in. Have I been too dreamy? One, have I been too dreamy to the point of not getting enough done and making silly errors? I'm gonna answer my own questions and say no. As I got to the eclipse, it's like, yeah, I got spacey and stuff like that, but I just kind of focus on I be dreamy out and about. Like, I be in my head when I go get mangoes and go to the grocery store and stuff like that, and on the way to work. You know, I forgot my water bottle, but I was saying closer to the eclipse. So 2, have I been overly sensitive and too easily hurt? Nah, I haven't been overly sensitive. Matter of fact, I take that back. Yes, in the sense that I can feel the buffoonery or like the confusion coming, and it's like I be like, oh god, let me get my gotta get myself together. Feel me? You know that you know that spirit when you walk through a doorway or a threshold and you forget what you came in that space for. That's the spirit that lets you know, like when they say you check it at the door, it's like that's your window. You look at an eclipse like your window, like right before you step in that threshold. That's you're gonna have a moment to check your ego. Do not bring that shit with you, and I do that. So I answer 2. 3, have I been acting like a martyr or too easily led? Have I been acting like a martyr, like somebody that want to be like, oh man, I'm being sacrificed? What I say? They try to put me on the Bible. Yeah, I'm just playing that shit. I'm just playing. I'm just talking about the thing. And no, not too easily led. My issue is I don't trust anything. You really couldn't tell me. Nah, I would just be like, oh, just chill. 4, have I been meditating every day? And if not, why not? No, I have not been meditating every day. I've been dozing off. It's like I have a moment of some quietude and some 12th house significations, but then I might just 12th house go to sleep instead of 12th house meditate. You know what I'm saying? And why not? Trying to be busy, type things up. I'm trying to get into the research. It's been quite interesting seeing that little correspondence and all that. 5, have I been in touch with my intuitive side, following my dreams and hunches? Yes, I have. However, following them and trusting those hunches, not so much. This lunar eclipse moon gonna be with Rahu. Rahu kind of gonna confuse and tempt you, so you can't really go that direction all the way. You know what I'm saying? And then the nodes is in opposite sign. Well, not opposite signs, but they're opposite to their office signs. So Rahu and Pisces isn't really like, oh, he like Pisces, but for all the wrong reasons. You think what I'm saying? K2 likes Virgo, but for all the wrong reasons. K2 significates enlightenment and moksha. So therefore enlightenment is kind of hard to come by and stuff like that right now. And then Rahu creates smoke and confusion and instability in the mind. So being in Pisces on a very subtle level, it kind of like creating a little mental instability and stuff. So hey, shadowy influences that seemingly ain't there. Super mystical moon, connect with your inner psychic, find a balance between your need for inner peace versus all your duties. right? And then the stars, Purva Bhadrapada. We'll talk about this a bit. Power to awaken spirituality in a person. It's a very serious, critical star, seen as the most intense, right? The blessed steps and the scorching pear. It represents shedding one's experience from the past and going towards the next life, right? Going towards salvation and moksha. One part of Purva Bhadrapada is in Aquarius, and then one part is in Pisces. So one foot in and one foot out, right? The symbol, front end of a cot or man with two faces, a sword. Funeral cot is just the understanding that we're gonna have to get rid of our limited sense of self for the unlimited sense of self we find after we liberate our souls from the conditioning of Maya. But in a sense, it's just kind of getting rid of whatever attachments that you got. Attachments, your habits, your conditionings, just letting that go. Realize, put that on the altar and sacrifice that and step into your new life. You feel me? A more authentic expression of yourself. A man with two faces shows this. It's like you had one face. Purva Bhadrapada has got some secrecy with it. It one face of this man, okay, it's like Dr. Jekyll or whatever. It's unassuming. It fits in maybe. Or, you might think you could pick on that man and stuff like that, and then the other side is very brutal, intense. You feel me? So it should show extremes. It shows looking in two directions, right? One could be very well. It's an intense star. So truth be told, it's like one side is just extremely brutal, and then one side is extremely spiritual. It shows a schizophrenic nature. You think Kanye and I said, yeah, schizophrenia, borderline has roots in this star, Anastasia. So it's like unprovoked hostility, is repressed anger, a feeling that things have an inherent flaw in them, or it's like there's this inherent leverage that's trying to be garnered over them or just in life in general, right? So oftentimes those like personality disorders manifest because of like scarcity model, in addition to whatever little physical trauma and psychological trauma that was placed upon the individual. Once again, it's spanning from Saturn's Aquarius to Jupiter's Pisces. These are long-term planets, so often, especially with Saturn, it shows things get better over time, but the first half of life usually is going to be difficult. It's going to be a lot of grief in the first half of life, which leads to repressed anger and this feeling with, okay, nah, I've dealt with the disrespect in the past. You were given grace. It was spared. But then that person ends up growing into somebody not sparing anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just inherent. They feel like there's inherent injustice going on, right? So the sword emphasizes the purging of the past self through cutting attachments from your former life. It's alleged that this is the birth star of Jesus. And it kind of relates to the Sermon on the Mount. It's like all of the vindictiveness and extremely brutal things, and then he switches it. Like, okay, well, let's look at it real quick. Let's see if I still have it. I can't believe that. Control Shift T, Control Shift T, Control Shift T. One more. One more. Yeah, so Sermon on the Mount covers several different topics. It is not the purpose of this, but how to live a life dedicated to and pleasing God, free from hypocrisy, so free from the two-facedness, full of love and grace, Jupiter. You feel me? Full of wisdom and discernment, Aquarius. Right? Which one? Yeah, so again, you have heard that it was said to those of old, the former, past attachments. You shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. But I say to you, do not take an oath, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one head white or black. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil. Feel me? But I found that it kind of relates. Also, it relates to. Let me close this out. Start closing a couple of these again. It relates to horse and set when, and then also scripture in the Bible where Jesus tells Satan, get behind me. He come up and he tempt him with all the material things and all the things that's behind him in a former life in the past. You feel me? As he's looking forward, and he's just telling him, stay behind me. You dig what I'm saying? I'll allow you to just do your thing with those things, and we're really gonna move forward, right? What else I got? I got that picture. And then the Sabian symbol I got is, because it's like a degree in 28 minutes. Sabian symbol is a squirrel hiding from hunters. Reasonable caution, right? In this most brutal, most intense star, the dangers of life come from our fellow man, as we see, as well as from nature. Balance, trust with caution. The dangers of life come from our fellow man. I did this down. I ain't even get to put together the other one, but this is Trump and the Fear Stars based on his assassination attempts, right? And it's like, okay, Fear Star right here in Jayesta, Fear Star Saturn and Purvabhadrapada. Mars is in a mixed fierce, I mean not mixed fierce, but mixed, but being dreadful and soft. So it's dreadful and fast or something like that, right? Mercury is in a Slatia, Star Lord for the star Jayesta, and a dreadful star also. You know what I'm saying? That's the first one. Sun was in Pronarvasu. It means things repeat itself. So this was the first of two attempts. Once again, thing that repeats itself. They did it when the star was in a Slatia, or the ascendant was in the star of Jayesta, pardon me. Star Lord Mercury is in the fierce star Purva Falguni, right? Mars as sign lord of Scorpio is in the star Ardra, dreadful star Ardra, ferocious star, right? Moon, star lord Mars, right? Drip, I got big boots. What else? I had started this, but I haven't finished it yet. I'll do this another time, a little later. But this is the Fear Stars and the association with the mass shootings in the United States, right? And this is Columbine, Mona's and dreadful, ferocious star of Ardra. Rahu, star lord of Ardra, is in the dreadful star of Aslasia, right? So I think I might have. I don't have Red Lake on here yet. So, without a high degree of trust and intimacy, such as exists, for example, in tribal communities, there's always a real threat of aggression in the world. The appropriate response to this is neither fear nor blind faith, it is caution. The Sufis say trust in God, but also tie your camel. So that'd be like trust in God, but also lock your car, right? And trust and intimacy is going to allow you to be able to adapt and interact through compassion and grace If you know somebody intimately, so like truth be told, if you know somebody chart, you know their moon star, you gauge, you can gauge pretty much to what to be the results of y'all interaction and know how to deal with that. Maybe if you in a tribe, you making it's even more easier because now you can trust that like, oh, we in the same tribe. I ain't got no ill intention towards you. It's just we might not really you and I interaction is adulterated in the sense that there needs to be a mediator. You dig what I'm saying? Like, say a person got moon and let's say a person got moon and Uttara Shada ruled by the sun. They kind of gonna have issues with Mercury types, right? Or yeah, I believe so. Yeah, they're gonna have some issues with Mercury types based upon the trine system. Now, because it's Uttara Shada and it's the mongoose, they also gonna have issues with Rahu types and Ketu types. You dig what I'm saying? So now you might see that person outside of the tribe or the whatever the clan or whatever that is. You see them outside of that and you be like, man, why they don't really get along with nobody and stuff like that. And they actually need a bit of a mediator. They kind of need they might require a person that this a person that they the more diplomatic person that and they gotta be involved in that. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like that's one example. Cause I bear witness to that. It's like, okay, I'm working. And when's your birthday? You get everybody a little information just to get their little birth star and understand that part. And then you kind of watch it unfold more instead of just thinking it's a person doing this and a person doing that. It's like, nah, you might need to stay up there, and these individuals do they think back there. Don't be trying to involve yourself so much in things because it's not a high degree of trust and intimacy. I don't know you really. You dig what I'm saying? And the dangers of life come from our fellow man. We see with Trump, it's like, okay, nigga, I don't know. Maybe he's under possession, or maybe he really understands some things, and he got out there and was like, okay, I'm gonna go out there when the ascendant goes into this dreadful star, and I'm gonna sit up there and try to get this nigga whacked. Feel me? So what I say, in our investigation into the brutal and dreadful stars, we see they create combinations for danger and require a more careful approach. Even those that have their natal planets in these stars kind of require a more careful approach because of their intensity. And this go both ways. This goes one way for them because of the nature of brutal and dreadful stars. They can't really get away with being so mean. You feel me? Their jokes don't always come off being so like, that's not funny, that hurt. See what I'm saying? And then in the same vein, if you're a funny guy and all of that, you can't sit up there and be trying to joke with everybody. This ain't that. You dig what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a careful approach. Like for instance, my moon soul planet is in brutal stars, right? My ascendant and I think my Ruta Lagna is in a fixed and soft star. You dig what I'm saying? Right? Right hand man, he has his moon in a star that like is about getting motion, and he talk about motion. So it's a more mercantile. I ain't gonna say friendlier, but it's moon ruled. So he's Sice, right hand man of Sice. I'ma get you guys shit though. Like I'm not sicing anything. You feel me? It really got the same effect because the sicer leads you somewhere and you, oh man, But I'ma already just put you in the oh man. You know what I'm saying? But you'll feel better on the back end. You just you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you watch it, I bear witness. We even say that shit. It was like he's front end ism, motherfucking back end ism. That's just how it goes. So I would say this next part. The threat of aggression exists because of the counterfeit scarcity model that we live in and that many of us have adopted in our minds also. So much of our interactions are adulterated and not an authentic expression. You dig what I'm saying? Adulterated meaning that it's not supposed to mix. It's incompatible. What the hell is Pusha Moon doing with Pervert Shada Moon? They don't understand. This is a sign of like spiritually complex relationships in astrology is when two individuals' moons are 6th and 8th to each other, and usually their yonis are also hostile to one another. So then I ask again, like, what exactly is bringing you two together if not dysfunction? The desire to cannibalize one another. You understand what I'm saying? It makes one vulnerable for abuse, vulnerable for fucking possession. You gotta have caution and vigilance. I could tell them that, but you feel me? They might, you know, pervert Bhadrapada is associated with some perversion. For sure. It's like, it's all adult entertainment, dark entertainment, whatever that is. So it's like, okay, if y'all getting into that, and I know y'all moon stars, I know that that's really nothing good is gonna come out of that for either y'all. Nothing but abuse. Y'all gonna be hurt after that, you know. Why? Cause I've been there. I've been there. Like what? I've been there, but it might be necessary for y'all. Cause if I went through it, you know, maybe the stars just they gotta get you. Gotta get you. So this is 8 of Cups. This degree of Pisces, first deacon. 8 of Cups, 8, 9, 10, 8, first 10. Abandonment, escapism, perfect clarity. You know what I'm saying? All the cups are right, they ain't spilled like the 5 of Cups. Feel me? He not on the same little wetlands. And then the moon right here in this card is a representation of a lunar eclipse. You know what I'm saying? So the moon is kind of looking within. And once he look within, he like, hey, I could change my path. And then he goes over the waters, which represents the churning of one's existence. It's running waters. You know what I'm saying? Running over rocks. Rocks represent faith. You know what I'm saying? So he's allowing his faith to filter and churn his existence. And then he kind of go up. But it also represents indolence. So it might be just going a path, just being difficult and stuff like that. Just feeling like, all right, man, I just gotta get away from things. I'm gonna just abandon things. I give up. It's a deep feeling of failure, or trying to avoid a deep feeling of failure, perhaps. But sometimes you gotta recognize the futility in things. Like, oh my gosh, I am being like obsessed about certain results. All right. That's my presentation on that. It was quick. I ain't